All right, guys, as you can see, we're pretty close here to this nice, beautiful grizzly. A lot of people like to differentiate the term grizzly and the term brown bear, but in reality, a brown bear is phylogenetically identical to grizzlies in the same way a timber wolf is identical to a gray wolf. A lot of people just get that mixed up, and it's a pretty common misconception out here. We get a lot of guests with us that think that grizzlies and brown bears are somehow different. The only real difference in their temperament and their physiology is their environment. They have a coastal salmon run and they have food year-round that inland grizzlies just don't have. As a result, inland grizzlies tend to be smaller, and because they're active predators, but because they're active predators, they hunt for their food every day. They're generally much more aggressive. These coastal brown bears don't hunt for their food very often, and as a result are much more complacent in their behavior. And what do I mean when I say complacent? I actually mean two things. One, they're not as aggressive, and two, they're much more social. Brown bears, grizzly bears, the Uridae family, they're not social creatures, but because of the salmon run, they interact in close proximity to one another for 4 months out of the year, and even when the salmon run isn't going, they interact with each other closely during clamming season. Because of that social aspect of their environment, they are much easier to approach, and the safaris for coastal grizzlies are incredibly safe. Very few people a year get mauled by coastal grizzlies. It does happen, and these are dangerous creatures that need to be treated with respect. But you have to understand fundamentally that their behavior is only different from an inland grizzly because of their environment. And if their environment wasn't what it was, they wouldn't be what they are. And I think that goes without saying for all animals. You know, our environment shapes us. Whether you grow up in the city or whether you grow up out here, you're going to be who you're going to be largely, or at least in part, because of your environment. And that isn't any different with the coastal brown bears. They are really, really cool creatures, but they are dangerous, and that needs to be taken into account, and actions have to be taken to make sure that everyone's staying safe all the time, and that's what we try to do. One of the super important things to remember about these bears is that they all have different temperaments, and you have to treat and respect them all in different ways. Some bears are not going to let you get within 800 yards of them. Some bears are going to let you get 8 feet from them. And understanding the behavior of these coastal brown bears is imperative to being able to do our job out here. What you guys don't see right here is I have a team behind me who's ready to intervene if anything happens. Another thing, I'm also carrying bear spray. And if a bear is charging, you want to start that spray when it hits about 5 yards away from you, so about 15 feet, and continue that spray in bursts. 1 burst, 2 burst, 3 burst. Because if you do this and you hold the spray down, the spray goes all over. It has a jet effect, and you don't get good contact with the grizzly. So it's important to know how to use your gear. Go out, buy 2 cans of bear spray, use one of them. Figure out what it's like, and then you're safe to carry bear spray. Same thing with your firearm, as well as a .44 revolver and an inReach. You can also see I'm carrying a laser rangefinder here. All of these things are tools that are going to help me, A, stay within the law, B, stay safe, and C, communicate with anyone if anything bad happens. We do a lot of flying, and it's dangerous flying. Some of the most dangerous flying that happens in the entire world. And because of that, I always carry a tracking inReach on me that can send message. And I also carry a satellite phone. Not on my person, it's in my gear, which I have back with my team behind me, or actually in front of me, behind you guys. The other thing I'm carrying is my rangefinder. A lot of the places I work, there is a range limit of which you can approach grizzlies. We do everything in our power to make ourselves non-objects to the bear and seamlessly intertwine with the environment, but that's a hard task to accomplish. And because of that, you have to carry everything you need, and that includes a firearm. I know a lot of people don't like it, but the ugly truth is that these are wild animals, and if anything bad happens, I'd rather kill a bear than have a human die on my watch, and that's just the way it is, and I'm not going to change my opinion there. A lot of people like to point out that I act a lot like Timothy Treadwell, which I don't. I carry bear spray, I carry a gun, I don't camp on bear trails. There's a lot of stuff that I do that is nothing similar to Timothy, because I take every reasonable safety precaution I can, and I don't act like a complete fool around these bears. I'm not trying to pet them, and I know they're not my friends. They are wild animals, they are incredibly dangerous, and as such we have to respect them.